good, everybody? This is the Kingtif Network. We back with another amazing interview. We have somebody here who is an artist, who is an author, who is a creative, who is a personality, somebody who I have been able to see grow, see develop, and just have the confidence to just shake a room. I have Miss Eboni Daniels in the building.
What's up?
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm not an artist, though.
You are not an artist, and I did say that.
That's
and
okay,
you know what's funny?
You interview artists, though.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
We interview a lot of artists, so that's what I start with every time.
No.
When I said it,
I don't make music.
When I said that, I was like, why did I say that?
But
but I'm gonna just keep rolling with it.
It's good.
How you been?
I'm good. Yeah, how you been?
I'm good. I'm
Yeah,
good.
I know.
You look great.
Thank you. You had the pod, now you got a whole network.
Look,
you gotta
we trying to do something.
Expand and reach.
Expand and reach.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's dope. Thank you for having me.
Of course. We are here at the Big Hef Radio Station. Part of it, right?
Yeah, so Nerve DJ's headquarters.
Okay. Shout out to Nerve DJ. I don't know him, but I want to.
Right, but Nerve DJs is like a conglomerate of DJs put together by the Grand Wizard DJ Johnny O.
Okay.
And Big Hef. And it's just a large pool of DJs nationwide and some global. Mm-hmm. And they break tracks. They break tracks.
Okay,
you know
that's
what
what they're known for.
Yeah, they're known to be this large DJs movement, and they break tracks, and so a lot of artists want to get their music to them and let them play it on their radio stations, in the clubs, at parties, like whatever that DJ specializes in or whatever. So Nerve DJs is turning 18.
Shout out to y'all.
Yeah, so Nerve
That's
DJs
big.
they're turning 18 this September.
This September.
Yeah,
okay.
So they're gonna have a big anniversary extravaganza weekend starting the 17th of September here in Cleveland.
Here in Cleveland.
So you gotta get there. The Nerve DJs is definitely about to put on for the city, and a lot of people plan to come in town for it and stuff.
That's huge. That's huge. Okay.
Yeah.
I did not know
we
that.
Yeah, so that's where we are. This is the Nerve DJs headquarters, but they also have radio shows that come. And Big Hef Radio Show is one of them. And I'm a co-host on there.
There we go.
Yeah.
One of the best co-hosts in the city.
I appreciate it.
How did you? I don't even want to start there because that's a big thing right there.
Yeah.
I want to go back to who is Eboni? Like, where did you get started? Like, how did you even get into radio? Like, all of that stuff.
So honestly, Eboni, as far as like everybody knows, is a child welfare advocate.
Okay.
Had nothing to do with radio.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not that I had anything against it, but my life story before Big Hef Radio and like all that stuff, it had nothing to do with radio. It had nothing to do with entertainment, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like,
were you always a fan of entertainment?
Yeah, for sure. Always was.
Okay.
Always loved music. Always kind of felt like, oh, that's what y'all do? I could do that. You know what I mean? But that wasn't what I saw for myself at the time. It wasn't my trajectory or what have you.
Right.
And so I went to school. I got an undergrad degree. I got a master's degree. You know what I'm saying?
Big time.
Worked in early childhood education. Worked at Head Start. You know what I mean? And now I work in foster care. So I literally work a 9 to 5 in foster care with teenage boys.
Wow.
Ages 13 to 21. So I kind of went for, and I used to be a toddler teacher. It's kind of strange. But I used to work with young kids, 5 and under. And now I work with teenage boys. Or what have you, but
how was that jump working with
no, it's not different at all.
Really?
It's not, and that's no shade to young men, but young men in the position of where they are when we have them, they're kind of like in a toddler stage.
Really?
You know what I mean? Like they're trying to find their fit. They're trying to express themselves. They're trying to find the words to express themselves. They need constant like reassurance. You know what I mean? They need the support as they go through this transition of being a teenager, being outside of their home, their family's home. And so it's like a lot of the skills that I would have used to help a toddler, I don't know, potty train, it's like the same skills I used to help a young man learn how to apply for a job.
keeping it as simple as possible.
Yeah, you keep it simple. It's this step, here, here, and then you're done.
And not overwhelming.
And they don't get it right the first time, like you don't potty train right the first time.
Absolutely.
So you do it again. It's the same steps here, there, and there, and then you get it done. And it's just repetition until you get comfortable enough to do it yourself. That's potty training.
Yeah.
That's job searching.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's like, a lot of people thought it was gonna be like this. Like how you work with teenage boys? How did you get here? You know, but I got there because the job I was working for, they closed. Ooh. And I was unemployed. And then that particular agency that I work for now, they needed someone to fill a space, and I was able to fill the space
at the time.
And
that
I
was
just
yours.
and I stuck with it in X, Y, and Z. So that's really.
So that's always been your core.
Yeah. So that's really like who I am. Like I am somebody who care about the youth, work with the youth, been working with the youth. Want to see them do good. You know, want to make sure that they get at the best. Like I don't know type of because my one degree is in developmental psychology. So it's like just making sure that the best of my ability, their development is normal. Yeah. You know what I mean? Nothing's ever really normal, but that's my thing. You know what I mean? So, but after a while, your thing gets to be a little like, is this really who I am, or is this really who I want to be, or do I not think I can't do something else? You know what I mean? And you don't want to become stagnant. And
that's kind of what.
And so then that's when I started looking into something else. You know what I mean? Looking into something else. So just really quick, like I used to wear glasses. Like when you met me, I wore glasses.
Yeah.
And I just recently had a LASIK surgery. So that's neither here nor there.
What?
Don't you worry yourself. But I wore glasses, right? And I used to always, to what I felt like, I wore good glasses, nice glasses, you know what I mean? So I was like, oh, I could always be like a model for glasses. And so I was at the mall one day with my mother, and there was a kiosk, and they were looking for models, and I signed up, and then like I took these classes down in Akron for modeling and all this jazz, and then I went to a competition in LA with that same organization, but they sent me there for talent, not necessarily for modeling. They sent me there for talent. So for talent, I had to do like improv, I had to do on-camera hosting.
Oh, wow.
You know
so that was your first opportunity.
Yeah, so I had to do all of that, and you know, that type of hosting that you see somebody do at like the red carpet or something like that. And so I had to do, that was one of my competitions, and some other things, you know what I mean? So I had gotten like second place in improv, honorable mention, in the hosting and all that stuff.
How was it for you?
It was fun. Yeah, it was fun. It's called IMTA, which of course I can't think of the letters and what they mean right now, but it's like an International Model and Talent Association. And this was before COVID. So this was January 2019.
Oh, okay.
And they would do LA in January, and they do New York in July.
And that got canceled.
No, they had it.
Oh, because that's 19. Yeah.
So they just had IMTA in Orlando, and I don't know if they were always doing it in Orlando, but they actually just had it in Orlando. And people, they come from all over the world to this event. Yeah. Representing their agency, representing themselves, trying to get signed, because there's agents there that are signing models, signing dancers. Yeah. Artists perform there. Okay. Modeling, so we talking about print modeling, runway modeling, like I said, talent, so actors, YouTube stars, all that type of stuff. So they do all this type of stuff at this IMTA thing. And our agency is in Akron. It's called Pro Model and Talent, and they're in Akron. And they take, and you fundraise and you plan and you train and you raise money and all this jazz. But they take like, I don't even know, it had to be like 32 of us, or maybe a little bit more. But they take kids there because they do kids talent. And all this stuff, and you do all these competitions, and the people are watching you and stuff, and then there are, like I said, agents there, agents that are there, MMG, or, now I can't remember some of the people's names, but there are agents there looking for new talent, what they call new talent, new faces. And
so it's opportunity. And how did you continue? Are you still with them now?
Yep.
That's awesome.
So I'm still with Pro Model and Talent, and then I did get signed to Mannequin Talent Agency. Ooh, and with them, and what you do after you do the competitions, because you did the competitions, the people like you, they call you back for personal auditions. And so I might have got called to about 5 or 6 personal auditions or what have you. But I did walk away with the mannequin affiliation.
That's amazing.
And so, you know, I get information about castings and things like that through them. They're originally out of Florida, but they're nationwide. They're international, but they're out of Florida, and then Pro Models out of Akron.
Okay.
You know, and so I'll be honest, it's a little harder for me for the mannequin castings because I work. Well, their castings are nationwide. That's neither here nor there.
Wow.
It's just I do work. So like if I did get a casting and it's like I don't, you know, it could be in Atlanta, it could be in New York, it get a little hard for me.
Absolutely.
But the ones with Pro Model, they're way more likely to be in Ohio, maybe Michigan, maybe Tennessee or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
In the
And so
surrounding area.
like in this region.
Yeah.
And
you try to take advantage of
yeah,
it.
so you know, and if their client reaches out to them and they're interested in teeth, they'll ask you, are you available? You'll say you are, and then it's up to them to make the final decision if you're the look they really want to go with.
Oh, okay. So they don't waste your time.
Yeah, they don't waste your time. Like they will reach
really
out
good.
to you if they're interested in you, but then they'll let you know if they are going to move forward with the look that you have. And so I've been able to do a couple of photo shoots and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
You know, and I just
So that was your first kind of breakaway from...
That was the breakaway from the social services scene.
Okay, and now you've developed that now.
Right.
So that started in 2019.
Right.
So you've been able to develop that now into not a full-time, but a consistent radio host.
Yeah.
You do different roles and shoots and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Has it been enough for you to get away from that side? Or
No.
It's not enough?
No, it's not. So COVID happened, like you
Yes.
said. But before COVID happened, and I came back and I said, well, I did the LA competition. It was fun, no problem. And then maybe I shouldn't have done it. Maybe I jinxed myself. I'm not really sure, but I kind of knew I wasn't going to be able to just like quit my job and be available for a casting that may come my way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You hate to kind of think
And
like
that wasn't
that.
your dream, always.
It kind of just puts you in a place where it's like, I don't want to like sell myself short, but I'm a practical person.
Absolutely, me too.
Like I'm real practical, I'm real rational, and maybe sometimes I'm a little too fearful at times. You know what I mean? I can be honest with myself, and so I just was like, what else can I do? Like, how else can I flip this?
Absolutely.
And reached out to a friend of mine who was having a fashion show, and I was like, I'm trying to get into this hosting. Do you mind if I co-host you? Because she already had a host. It was Ro Digger.
Whoa.
So I was like, do you mind if I co-host your show? Like, will you give me a shot to start this live hosting?
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, it's no problem. I've known her all my life. Not Ro, but the boutique owner. Shout out to Toy.
And your first show
and
was
so
Ro
yeah,
Digger.
so she had this fashion show at Mitchell's, and I co-hosted it with Ro.
Wow.
And talked to Ro a little bit, and she was like, so what are you trying to get into? And she was like, are you trying to get in radio? And I was like, no, not really. I'm trying to get into this live hosting thing. Interestingly enough, she asked me, was I trying to get into radio?
That's
and I was
crazy.
like, no.
Did it even cross your mind before that?
No.
That's dope.
I was like,
That's
no.
smart. Shout
I'm
out
trying
Ro
to-
Digger.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Ro. So I was like, no, but I do believe I told her, like, but I'll keep that in mind. So I hosted for that.
So that was your first time.
Yeah, and so then reached out to my boy Watts, and I was like, yeah, Watts, because everybody know. If you don't know, you know your boy BKA Watts.
He's huge.
He does, yeah. He's pretty big, popular. He does a lot of media. He has his own podcast and all this type of stuff. He was hosting events at B-Side and all that type of stuff.
Really?
Yeah. So I reached out to him like, Watts, I'm trying to, get into this hosting. And
He's
I
in
know,
LA now, right?
he here in Cleveland.
Okay.
So I'm like, I'm trying to get into this hosting. Keep your girl in mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was like, yeah, no problem. Like, So he's like, you gotta come up with a stage name. And, he's like, all this stuff. And I was just like, I'm too old for a stage name. Like, I've been Eboni for a really long time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna just keep it funky. I'll be Eboni. So I was like, but I'll keep that in mind. You know what I mean? And reached out to me, and he was like, yeah, I'm about to be a part of this poetry night.
Okay.
She and he, that's not what it was called, but it was basically a woman panel and a male panel.
I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember
and
that. That was cool.
He was like, and we need a female host.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I think you'd be the best compliment to my guy, Crisis. Never knew Crisis a day in my life.
Wow, okay.
So he was
We'll
like,
get to it.
like, the show is this Friday. Are you available? Down. I'm available. He was like, okay, cool. So I came out. It was at the Rebar, and met Crisis, and it was just like easy, like natural. Like the girls won that night. Shout out to the girls.
Shout out to you.
Yeah.
Cause y'all win anytime.
But it was easy, smooth. It was so easy to play off of each other. And so everybody got along. Everybody that was on the panel got along. Like I said, myself and Crisis got along, and it was just easy. So we did it again.
Okay.
So we had another one. It was at Captivate.
Shout out Captivate.
Yeah, so we had one. It was at Captivate.
That's the one I remember.
Yeah, and
The second one.
So
Yeah, okay.
that was the second one, and then we ended up kind of having a third one with a twist, but Crisis couldn't make it, so I ended up hosting that one by myself. So that was my first time. So it was cool. Like it was okay.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It worked out. There was no, there was no mix-ups or anything like that. It felt a little awkward because I was expecting to have him.
Oh.
But I told them, like, no, I will still come because I wanted to have the opportunity to see if I could host it by myself. If I could host something by myself. Yeah, it's very different.
You got to roll with everything.
Yeah. And that's how I met Crisis. So, boom. Then I'm like...
And that was 2019 still.
Right.
So you had a really good 2019.
Yeah, so that was the end of 2019. And we were going to do it again.
So this is all of this.
All of this 2019.
This is all in 2 years.
Yeah.
Like where you are now.
Yeah, yeah.
That's crazy.
So all of that was in 2019. I said, hey, Crisis, like, I got to pick up another skill. I need to pick up another skill. And he was like, well, come. I do radio. You should come through. I'll introduce you to this guy. He has a radio station. I'll be up there on Thursday.
Absolutely.
So that was Voice It Radio.
Okay.
So Voice It Radio, shout out to EP. His name is Errol. But shout out to EP. I came up here. Voice It Radio used to be in this headquarters too. So it was Voice It Radio and Nerd BJs.
Okay.
I came up. He introduced me to EP. I trained under EP, so I know how to engineer.
Oh.
So he taught me how to engineer the shows that was here under Voice It Radio.
That's a skill set. You can go get a job.
Yeah, and so one day I was here and Crisis was doing the Big Hef Radio Show. So it was just Crisis. I had never met Hef, nothing. And I did know about Hef. I knew about him.
He's a big guy to know about. That's for sure.
Yeah, I knew about him, but I had never met. I never seen him a day in my life.
He is like a ghost sometimes.
Yeah, I had never seen him. So
we passed him today, and I was like, "Oh God, that's him." Hello.
Yeah.
And then he just was gone.
Oh yeah, because he got an event tonight. So I was here, and Crisis, like, I don't know. I guess he was lonely. I don't know. And he was like, "Yeah, Ed, you trying to get on the mic?" And I was like, "No." Get on the mic to say what? And so I was just like, sure, I'll get on. So I got on. I don't even remember who was interviewing that day. And he was like, yeah, come back next week. I actually work around the corner on St. Clair. So we're on Euclid Avenue, and I work on St. Clair. Literally.
So you just...
So I was like, sure, I'll come back. And I just kept coming back. And then maybe 3 weeks in or something like that, Hef comes to his own show. And so Hef comes.
That's how you
and
know
he
you're
was
the
like,
boss.
yeah, and he was like, yeah, so Ed, Crisis tells me you on the show now? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, that's dope. And then it just was over. Like, it literally went like that, and then I just been on the show ever since, and then COVID hit.
Yeah. So talk about that time.
Yeah.
So you're on the show now officially. You're rolling. You got everything kind of going your way in terms of getting something outside of your natural habitat.
Right.
Then boom, I mean, when you talk about a radio personality, when you talk about hosting, COVID killed almost all of that. For like a good 6 months, we didn't know what was really gonna happen.
Yeah.
So going into COVID, kind of what was your mindset like when everything shut down?
So of course, like everything shut down, and I guess so did we. I think we snuck in here a couple times. Yeah, because we didn't shut down right away, but we snuck in here a couple times and we did the show, and all this stuff, and then the OG got sick.
Oh.
So Johnny O caught COVID.
Oh no.
And he was really sick.
Yeah.
He was hospital bound and everything, and
no.
it was over with.
Mm-hmm.
It was over with. Like nobody was coming in here.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Nobody was
They
allowed to.
shut
It was
everything
a wrap. Like it was a wrap until we found out if he was gonna be good, which
Yeah.
he is. So Johnny O's good. AK great. But at that time, it was over. Like
Yeah.
we were and we had done like. We didn't even go remote. Like I know at Voice It Radio, eventually Voice It Radio moves, and he is on the other side of town. So Voice It Radio is on the other side of town at the East End neighborhood, rec center or what have you. That's over in the Wood Hill neighborhood.
Yeah.
So I'm engineering a show over there for them, but I'm not hosting over here for us because it was a wrap in the headquarters over here.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the shows over there at Voice It Radio, they're doing it remotely. Like some of them are remote, so they're doing their show, but they're doing it via Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing for us.
How
So
did that make you feel?
I was okay with it was okay. I understood what it was because it was really about Johnny O's health.
Right.
It wasn't about like, oh, when we gonna get back in. It was like, what's the update on Johnny O?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so it was cool. Like it just was what it was.
So you just rolling with the punches at that point.
Yeah, it just was what it was. We was just gonna wait it out.
But you knew you was coming back.
Yeah,
Like you.
I knew I was gonna come back. Crisis was gonna Hef was gonna bring the show back, all that type of stuff. But it was like, but we're not doing anything. This studio wasn't doing anything until we found out how he was gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the meantime, I was just engineering the other show.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at that point, how is your job now? What is that situation?
So during COVID, I work every single day. I go in every single day because I work I work at a group a group home agency.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, like the boys live there 24/7.
Oh wow.
So we have to care for them.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
You can't just shut down.
We don't shut down. We never close. It's a well-oiled machine. Like we're always moving.
Yeah.
And so it ain't really the job that you can work from home. I can work from home probably once a week. I could pull off working from home. I can refer to, respond to my emails. I can take my phone calls, what I mean, on my work phone and all that stuff. But it's really not the type of job that you can just work from home because eventually the boys need me. They need to see you. They need to talk to you. They need to work with you on some stuff and like all this jazz. And so it really ain't the type of job that you can work from home.
Okay.
So we going in every day. Every day. Me, my
Through the
coworker.
COVID.
Through the COVID. I worked every single day. I left my house every day when it wasn't nobody else on the streets, but me and 3 other cars because they was considered essential workers.
Mm-hmm. Probably Amazon workers.
Yeah, and I went to work every day through the COVID.
Did that keep you
shout
sane?
Shout out to the COVID because that's what happens when you an essential worker.
Absolutely.
The money that comes with that.
Absolutely.
So
how were you feeling at that time? Like, I mean, you seem like a person who doesn't like let things rattle them too much, too fast. It's just like, I'm just gonna roll with this, and then I'm just gonna make the best of it.
Well, I wish I could be that way for everything, but because it never changed for me, right? Okay, so here you go. COVID come down, everybody's like, what's going on? What is this? It's not that serious. It's gonna be gone, X, Y, and Z. The kids was about to go on spring break. Everybody got to remember, the kids was about to go on spring break. And that Friday, Governor DeWine says spring break is 3 weeks. this is how COVID happened. Spring break is 3 weeks.
Because they were trying
and we will update you when we find out more about this disease.
Because they weren't trying to cancel everything at first.
Right.
They were trying to just extend the spring break.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's how this starts, right? Like, at least in the state of Ohio. DeWine says, we're making spring break 3 weeks. Okay, I wasn't expecting my boys to be home for 3 weeks, but bet, I'll deal with it. They'll be fine.
Right.
Only for DeWine to be like, you know what? Just shut all this shit down.
Right.
You know, and so...
Right. So they're 24/7.
So it literally never changed for us. Nothing was ever really different for us because we were always going to work every day. They was going to go on spring break anyway. It just got extended. So then we were just kind of put in a position where it was like, now we have to tell the boys, this is what's going on and this is what we expect from you. Please stay in the house. You know what I mean? Don't get to going out, trying to see your friends or trying to do all of this stuff. We'll get back to you when we find out from the county if y'all can visit your families, what's going to be the protocol for visiting your family and all this stuff. And so it was really like, maybe it was damage control, but it really was just like panic control.
Absolutely.
Like, make sure the boys don't panic about what's going on because none of us know anything.
Yeah.
So if we just try to make sure that they don't panic, yet don't keep things from them like they dummies, this will be fine. Like, we'll work this out. And I guess we did. You know what I mean? Like,
y'all got through it.
We got through it. I mean, none of my boys ever had COVID.
Oh, that's amazing.
Our knowledge.
That's amazing.
We had a few tested, and it came out negative. I had one young man who had been sick before COVID was even announced. Pretty confident he had it.
Okay.
I mean, he was sick as a dog. You know what I mean? And so we're pretty sure he had it, but that was back when, like, a lot of people, like I said, before COVID was announced. And a lot of people was getting sick, and everybody was being told they either had pneumonia or upper respiratory infection.
Right.
Okay. He was told he had upper respiratory infection, you know what I mean? And we kept him, you know,
it was here before they wanted to say anything.
We kept him in his room, and he felt terrible, you know, and all this stuff. And then that was over with. And life was so until they went on a 3-week spring break.
Absolutely.
And so for me, I don't even know. Like, I think that I just kept pushing through it, and going to work probably saved me because
that's what I'm thinking.
I don't have kids and like all this stuff, you know what I mean? And so
it kept your routine.
It kept my routine.
So you couldn't even really tell. Well, you could
see,
tell, and you could see, but it's like internally, like subconsciously, you didn't have to worry about it as much.
Yeah, it probably definitely just kept my sanity for real. To be,
I agree.
You know, and a lot of people was like, so how you doing? Like, how's work? And, you know, when you guys gonna go back? And I'm like, go back? I go to work every morning. When am I gonna go back? Tomorrow morning.
I gotta be at 8 o'clock.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure it probably did keep my sanity to know that, like, nothing's changed for me in respect to, like, where am I gonna go? How am I gonna get through this particular day?
Bills.
How am I gonna, you know, pay my bills? How am I gonna keep my sanity?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Okay, so in COVID, right, I believe this is when you dropped your book.
I did drop a book, but it wasn't, I mean, we in COVID. We still in COVID. But no, not in the height. I literally just dropped my book a couple months ago.
Right. So.
But last year, I can't even remember when we came back to the show.
Did you write it last year?
I wrote the book in 5 days.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a part of a, like, write your ebook in 5 days type of program type of situation. Shout out to Conscious Consultant, my girl Shayla Turner. She's from Cleveland. She lives in Texas.
So how did that go about? What is the book, first off, for everybody?
Yeah.
What is the book, and then what is the kind of the program you went through?
Yeah. So my book is called An Apple from Every Student, and it's a guide to help you, you know, understand the experiences of your students who have experiences in foster care.
Oh.
And
I love it.
Conscious Consultant, she just was somebody I had been following on IG for quite some time. She worked with small businesses, helping them plan and execute and diversify and all that type of stuff. So it was just something I had been watching her do for a long time. And then I became a member, and, you know, when you're a member, you get perks and stuff.
That's dope.
So then she just kept talking about, you know, like digital product and having something that you don't have to have tangible and stuff. And so I had been having this thought on my mind for a while because I work with youth in foster care, and they go to school wherever they go to school at, here in the city. None of them have to go to the same school. And so that means that I interact with a lot of teachers. And a lot of teachers, I have no idea who's ringing a doorbell.
I don't know what that is.
Pretty unique.
That is interesting.
A lot of teachers ask me a lot of questions.
Okay.
I've been working in foster care 8 years, and a lot of teachers ask me a lot of questions.
That's great.
And so I was just like, I know I can put something together that would at least, if nothing else, be a start to answering a lot of the basic questions that they have.
Absolutely.
Because after a while, nothing is universal anymore. Your story is different than my story, which then affects how we interact in school with school personnel. I could be in school and be a straight A student, and the teacher think I got a 2-parent home, and come to find out I'm in foster care.
Right.
You could be in school and tearing it up, failing, getting suspended and everything, and they assume something of you, and you could be in foster care or you could not, you know.
Absolutely.
And so the book is really just about like answering real basic questions, breaking down the stereotype of a foster youth, and getting the teacher to really just kind of understand, like, it really is your job to get to know your student.
So it's more for the teachers. Got you.
Yeah, it's for the teachers.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So
you don't see a lot of, books, even ebooks that are catered to teachers, helping students better understand them and teach them better.
Yeah.
Because when you think of a teacher, it's like, oh, they're teaching, so they should know how to handle anybody, but they don't.
Yeah, and then they, I know a lot of teachers, and I know a lot of teachers who work hard, and they do the best that they can, but I've done it long enough to know that, they get stuck, and they particularly get stuck on youth who are in foster care, because the first thing is first. Who do I even go to for this child to speak to them about what's going on with this child? Because with the foster care, it's like you got a guardian who is the county, you got a parent who might still be involved, a bio parent who might still be involved. Then you might have a foster parent, or you might have somebody like us, an agency that's involved, but we care for the child like we're their parent. And teachers, they don't even know where to start. They're like, who do I even reach out to say, hey, did you know teeth is failing?
Right.
And so it just...
But that matters.
But it matters, because if
really
you don't even know who to contact for my livelihood, then it makes it hard for you to show me that you care about my livelihood. I'm not going to speak on teachers and say they don't care. But it makes it hard for them to show or prove or make a student feel like they care for their livelihood when they don't even know who to address about their livelihood. So, and it's a quick read, but it answers a lot of questions. It's like 25 pages, you know what I'm saying? And it answers a lot of questions just off the top, so that you can know how to get started, and then it's got some worksheets in it to help the teachers bridge the gap between them and their students. Don't let me put you in a position to isolate your foster care students versus the ones who are not foster care. That's not what we're here for.
Right.
So your worksheets are for all the students, but in the worksheets, somehow, if you do it right, it's going to come out that youth is in foster care. You're going to find out, like, that youth is in foster care. And then that's your way of being like, okay, cool. Now I can say, let me look in his file and say, oh, okay, this is his guardian. This is who I can contact. This is who an emergency contact is. And, and sometimes it's higher than the teacher. Like, sometimes it's like a enrollment issue. But I can't solve all the problems. Yes, yeah. Absolutely. But I can't solve every problem. So if I can help a teacher, then, you know what I'm saying?
She can get started in her own, because, every
Classroom.
school is its own ecosystem almost, head, students, presidents, all that stuff. So that is an amazing outlook on giving something, a resource to teachers. to benefit off of and just be a better teacher. So that's amazing.
Yeah,
and
thank
then
you.
I want to talk about your Crown League.
Yeah, so the book is under
the Crown League.
Yeah.
But what is the Crown League? I kind of want to get people to break that down.
So the Crown League was a LLC that I had started last year, and Crown stands for celebrating results of women now, and it's under construction. I'll be honest, you know what I'm saying. I'm here for transparency, so I'll be honest. It's under construction, but it was originally about the support and the exposure of women. Mostly women businesses, but it didn't have to be women businesses.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It could have been like a mom who just been doing an excellent job because, she's raising 2 sets of twins. I definitely know a woman who I went to high school with, and, her story goes that, her and her husband, they weren't conceiving. I'm not gonna say they couldn't because they have 2 sets of twins.
Right.
They weren't conceiving. And they did what they had to do medically and things like that, and they had a set of twin boys.
Wow.
Then I don't even know if they were trying, but I say within 18 months or so, she got pregnant with twins, with no medical help.
Wow.
And she had twin girls. So her story is amazing.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Her story is amazing. And so that's kind of like what Crown League is about. You could be an amazing business owner and all that jazz, or you could really just have an amazing story.
Highlighting women.
And it was all about just celebrating and highlighting women. And I don't think it's going to veer too much from that because I'm not about to change the name or anything like that. But I am, thinking and revamping how I'm going to make it move forward. Like how am I going to move it forward now? And but the book was written under that Crown League umbrella, and so I probably will. My plan is to expand a little bit on that book. That I give some more insight into very specific things that are already there's like a 5 key points in the book, and so that kind of allows me to expand on those 5.
On those 5, yeah.
Yeah, 4 for sure. 4 for sure.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
so you're more books, more ebooks, more development.
But I am revamping Crown League in my mind, and I'm just trying to decide. You know what I'm saying? Because I just do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like what I do for a living is always what I do for a living. Like I said, that whole working with youth thing, I don't really see it going anywhere anytime soon. But I just know, I just know I can do other things. And I had to accept that I could do other things. You know how sometimes you just don't, accept, sometimes you get stuck in being who you thought you were supposed to be. And you get complacent there, you get comfortable there. You know what I mean? And I knew for myself, it was just this can't be it. I can do other stuff. I know I can do other stuff. I just have to remind myself that I can do other stuff, make myself do it. I know enough people. I've been in enough rooms. Like I said, my whole story that I told you was all because I knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody, and I just kept reaching out to them. You know what I'm saying?
And you definitely took advantage of every opportunity. That's the key, Yeah. Because you can know everybody, but as soon as they give you an opportunity, I can't make this, or I gotta, or when you get there, you drunk, or you know what I'm saying? You're not. You've always shown professionalism every step of the way, so people are willing. Hell yeah, And I think that's a story that people need to hear, consistently being ready.
Yeah, and that's how I got to the coordinating. So that fashion show that I hosted, there was a scene. Oh. There was a scene in it. Oh. And so the scene, Styles by Toy was the hosting boutique for the show.
Okay.
Then she has this other boutique in the show, right? And I'm just okay, got a lot going on here. Cool. Boom, we can do this. So she has her boutique friend, and her boutique friend, her name is Sharkia.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I meet Sharkia, and she's like, you know, yeah, so this is going to be her scene, and it's going to look like this. You know, we'll need you to introduce them and all this stuff. And so Sharkia owns He Loves Curves.
Okay.
I don't know anything about it. I'm going to be honest, I didn't know anything about it. So I meet her and all this stuff, and we do the show. And it was cool. It was great. But I don't know if I saw her again. I probably saw her again somewhere. And she was like, yeah, Eboni, I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you about some stuff. I think that you'd be a really good addition to some things I'm about to be working on. Now, she was already doing fashion shows too. I didn't know that, but she was already doing fashion shows. And so I was like, yeah, sure. She's like, just come down to the store one day. And I was like, okay, cool. So she was about to do a show. It was going to be at the Real Black Friday.
Okay.
Outside.
Shout out to them, because that shit is fire.
Yeah, so shout out to
I can't wait for that shit.
Yeah, shout out to Larice Purnell. He does, the Real Black Friday at this event. I mean, where's it at? It's downtown at the square.
At the square. At the square. Yeah.
And so it's an event where
everybody
come out with their vendor tables to promote black business.
Yes.
I can't seem to. I done lost my train of thought.
It's okay.
So real quick, Sharkia throws this outdoor fashion show in where the fountains are, and so I co-hosted it with Coco Vaughn and Sam.
Okay.
Sam Long. But maybe I just can't kind of help myself because that's one of my innate skills. I'm a host, but I always show up to the practices and all that type of stuff. So anytime somebody kind of just like, I don't know, like forget something or they trying to do something, you know what I mean? I don't mind helping them. And so she was like, you're really good at coordinating stuff. Like you're really good at putting stuff in place and saying, hey, do this, do that. Don't forget you're supposed to be over there at this time and all that stuff. So she was like, I really would like you to help me coordinate my show. I got another show. I'm going to do another show in October. That's my fall show. I was like, yeah, bet, I'll help. So I did her October 2019 show. That was in 2019 in the fall. We did that. It was a go. We were gonna do 2020. Canceled it because of COVID. Pushed it back because of COVID. Then we finally made it happen this year in March.
Wow.
So we had a show this past year in March. 2021 in March at the Red Space. And so now that's the spring show. So now we're about to have the October show back at the Red Space, October 3rd. Furs and Swimsuits is what it's called.
Okay.
And it's going to be a very...
Do you have a flyer?
I don't have the flyer on me. Like, I got a digital.
Yeah, I'm she's supposed to be right here.
Yeah, she's supposed to be printing this show here.
Right here.
Right. So... she's supposed to be getting it printed or whatever. But yeah, so in her show always has like anywhere from 7 to 8 other designers in it and stuff like that. And back in March we sold over 225 VIP tickets.
Swear.
Yeah. So and then we probably had a standing room only show. That's a fact. And then we looking forward to October.
That's
so I sometimes I'll be like, yo, Eb, chill out, you're doing a lot. But other times I'll be like, no, it's cool, like it's fun. You know what I mean? I have fun doing it.
And they're kind of flowing together.
They all go together. It's a lot of the same people. I end up seeing a lot of the same people, but I always meet some new people.
That's the amazing part.
And it's just dope. You know what I mean?
So tell everybody before we get out of here everything you got. So you got the fashion show in October 3rd, right?
Yeah.
And then you have it's the Nerve DJ 18.
Yeah, the Nerve DJs conference, 18th year.
18th year anniversary. That's in September.
Yep.
September 17th.
Yeah, that weekend.
That whole weekend. That's in Cleveland.
Yep.
And then you are the co-host of the
Big Hef Radio Show every Thursday at 6 p.m.
Where can they get that?
Yeah, so you can always listen to us live on WNRV1081.com.
Yes.
And then we post the show on the Mixcloud app.
Okay.
So you can always go back and like listen to old ones and everything.
Yeah.
We interview artists in the city, in the region, and in the States.
Yeah.
So we do interview national artists. You know what I mean? We've interviewed 112. We've interviewed I can't get his name out, but he's from D12. I I cannot get his name.
I know D12.
But no. Bizarre.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Didn't he just drop a song with Bone Thugs and Harmony? Yeah, shout out to him because that song is hard.
We've interviewed, like I said, 112. We've interviewed Saint Bodie. She's on Def Jam. She's real dope. And then, like I said,
everybody in the city. Y'all talk to everybody. I mean,
and you don't have to be an artist, but we focus heavily on artists.
Focus heavily on hip hop artists and everything. What do y'all talk about outside of interviews? Everything.
Yeah, we just talk about we talk about personal stuff. We talk about things that are current news. Yeah. We talk about Hef's life because it's Hef's show, and Hef has a colorful life. Yeah, absolutely. And Crisis has a colorful life. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Hef, Crisis, and we got DJ Dream on the team now. Yeah. We did have Deb the Voice on the team. That's our homie too. So shout out to Deb the Voice and the Outrighteous podcast. Shout out to them and my homie T Rex. He's the engineer. Yeah, he giving us the countdown. Right. So, but every Thursday 6 o'clock. Like I said, you definitely can listen live.
That's amazing. Okay, this is part one because I want to actually get into more of the personality side on being on the radio and what that takes and stuff like that. But we're gonna save that for next time. Is there anything before we get out of here that you wanna, say? I kind of call it the get it off your chest time. Just anything you want to say before we get out of here?
I mean, I thought about that might be a question. I didn't know what he was going to ask me, so I'm telling y'all, like, as y'all can tell, everything I just said was off the top. But it's a lot of talk, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of talk about millennials and Gen Z and, like, all this stuff, right? And I'm a millennial, but I'm an older millennial, you know what I mean? So I don't know if people know that, like, millennials are, like, anyone from, like, born in 81, 82. Wow. Oh, so it's a lot of people don't know that. Like, the millennials start at the year of being born in, like, 81. Gotcha.
And stops when?
Stops at 96.
96. Oh, I just made it. Look at that.
Yeah, it stops at 96. And so, I wasn't born in 81, but I wasn't born in the 90s either. You know what I'm saying? And I can be honest enough to say that, like, I doubted myself for that.
Really?
This is like, just like people think music is a young person's game, you know what I mean? I could honestly say that I really kind of thought that media was a young person's game. Not necessarily a young person only, but like you needed to get your start as a young person, you know what I mean? In they 21, 22s or something like that. And when I started to meet more and more people in the media, that's where they were. Like, that's literally where they were. They were definitely 23, 25, you know what I mean? And so it made me just look at myself and be like, okay, I can do this, but how do I do this so that I am myself? I'm comfortable being myself, but I blend in so much that, like, they don't know what to think about me. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much what I get. Like, people don't know how old I am. No, it ain't none of y'all business. But yeah, like, people don't know how old I am. They don't know. They kind of, unless they already knew me, they kind of don't know where I came from. Right. You know what I mean?
Until now.
But yeah,
that's why we're here.
Until now. But they know that, like, I'm a genuine person.
Absolutely.
And they know that they're going to get the same person every time. You know? And so I really had to be okay with just being okay. You know what I mean? I had to be okay with being myself, not trying to be anybody else, and making that fly. Like, I had to make myself fly, which I'm not even sure if I always thought I was. Like, you know what I mean? I never just had, like, low self-esteem, but I was Eb, and I was cool with that. Like, I was cool with being Eb. Catch me when you catch me, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? I come from a different time in the city where there was lots of parties, lots of clubs. We was having a good time. But I had to be okay with, like, no, it's cool if you Eb. You can still be Eb, and that's why I'm still Ebony. I did put a twist on it because my name is spelled Eboni. So I was like, yo, I'm gonna just be Ebony with an I. Absolutely. So you know how to spell my name. Absolutely. And y'all gonna catch these vibes.